Hey, what is going on, Washington football addicts? We are live tonight. It is Friday, July 16th, 8:35 East Coast Standard Time. So today we would like to welcome my boy Phil joining me tonight. What up, Phil? Hey, we are Sans Rod and Sans Dev, but this is episode 79 for us, and we are joined by a special guest tonight. He really needs no introduction. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring him in the room here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and welcome big Mr. Anthony Armstrong to the show.
Mr. No intro needed. I love it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hey, Anthony, once again, we want to thank you for your time. Thank you for your time, sincerely, for joining us tonight and talk some Washington football with us. How you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. Life is crazy. Everything is like super fast paced. Adulting like none other. Had to get a new water heater today. So, we just
being a homeowner life, man.
Yeah, man, that's homeowner shit. That's what I call it, homeowner shit.
That's right. And you know that because you help people attain that level in life.
Exactly. So like I've been in real estate for like 7 years, and then I've owned my house for 8 years. So I've like grown in the business and like learning on the go as well. So everything I learn, I tell my buyers and tell my sellers at the same time. So it's very helpful.
And there's things they just don't tell you as a homeowner. There's nothing that can prepare you. You can be told all the things in the world, but there's things they just don't tell you.
Yeah, man. It's some stuff that it could scare you off. I just like you to be prepared. You know what I mean? You take care of yourself in the beginning. You'll be prepared for what's coming down the pipe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so we're gonna open up the show like we normally do. Let's dedicate episode 79. Phil, take it away. I don't even know who it is, but I already pre-wrote the ticker, so let's go.
Boom! Steve knows me well. He knows I'm an offensive line guy. Episode 79, dedicated to the great Jim Lachey. This is the guy who made me want to play offensive tackle from a little kid. You know, when I went in high school and everything, playing football, offensive tackle. I wanted to be Jim Lachey. He played with Washington. He came over to Washington after between weeks 1 and 2 in 1988 season in a trade in which we sent away Jay Schrader and got Jim Lachey in return. And there was another player in that trade as well, and I'm blanking on who it is. But Lachey was kind of like, they said you can have anybody but Marcus Allen and Bo Jackson or Howie Long. And they said, and Bobby Beathard said, I'll take Jim Lachey, not knowing what he was about to become. With Washington, Lachey was a 2-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. Was with the team from 1988 until 1995. Career was cut short due to a series of back injuries that put him out of football by the age of 32. But in that short span of time, he was a 3-time All-Pro. And between 1990 and 91, 32 games, allowed 0 sacks, and only committed 3 penalties in 32 games. I've long said that it's injury. This is the guy who forced Joe Jacoby out of left tackle. That's how good he was. I've always said that if he had played a couple more years and not missed one season completely due to a back injury, he would be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and he was probably one of the 2 best left tackles of his era. The other being Anthony Munoz would be the other name I'd throw out there as being equal to Jim Lachey. So
Cincinnati. Who was playing left tackle when you were with the team, Anthony?
Oh man, well the great Chris Samuels was there.
That's right, number 60. That's right.
And then they followed that up soon after with the silverback. You got Trent Williams came in and was holding it down for a while. So
big Trent.
That's been a solid position for the organization for a while. You know
what? Of all the stupidity and madness, you're right. They tend to do well at left tackle, and here we are in the first year of. We don't know who the left tackle is going to be. So we'll see. Well, let's go ahead and get the show started. As the comments come in, we'll go ahead and answer them. But just starting off with the first topic, it's Washington news, but it's not Washington news. But the reason we bring it up, have you seen the latest Dwayne Haskins news where his wife did a little bit of 2-piece on him out in Vegas? And, I love Dwayne. I really wish he could have worked out here. I just think it was a byproduct of, the owner wanted him. I don't think the coaching staff wanted him. They Gruden, Rivera, whatever. Of course, he had his own flaws too, but it was just sad to see something like that going on. And it just, I don't know. It's just quite disappointing,
Yeah. No, he's a good player. I had seen the news, and frankly, I try to stay out of other people's business like that. But obviously, you don't want anybody putting hands on anybody, going either way. So you hope everything is all right. But with him being on the field, I do think that being able to sit behind Roethlisberger for a little while is going to be able to help, even if it is just a season. And since training camp's about to start, it may be perfect to kind of get some separation a little bit so he can focus on one thing at a time. But yeah, I had seen he had gotten married, or he had posted that one post, and I was like, man, congratulations. And then this news came out, and I was like, wow, that was a hectic week in Vegas. But hope all is well. Really do.
What happens in Vegas, I guess now is public. But no, you're right. It's like he's with one of the best to play the position at quarterback. He's with one of the greatest coaches of all time in Mike Tomlin. So the pieces are already there. It's just I'm such a fan of his. I really want him to do well. And it's just like these things just keep nipping at his heels. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Phil.
I really don't, because it's one of those things where he's so young. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to say it's an established pattern yet. You know what I mean? Because a lot of things can happen in a short period of time. So I don't hold it against him. I don't, look, we've all had trifling women in our lives. We've all had, we've had these situations, and it always seems to happen. Like, when one domino falls, they all fall. So I'm not, I hope that whatever the situation is, it can be resolved one way or the other. Either they can reconcile, or he says, I'm not putting up with this, I'm out of here, whatever the case may be. But I'm not going to knock the guy. We've all been in those relationships, or as Dane Cook once called them, relationships. So it is what it is.
Yeah, that's a good way to transition. We just want to say hi, Toan Redskins WFT fan Ho. Thank you for joining the stream. Eric Berner, thank you very much. We appreciate the love. And Corey Sanchez, our man from On the Warpath, always a friend of the show. Thank you for joining us as well. So moving on to the next topic. So Anthony, one of our beloved former wide receivers. So the team made some moves this offseason in wide receiver, right? So they picked up, we'll just read the list, and we just want to hear your thoughts on who are you feeling in a wide receiver room, and maybe who do you think might not make a list? Because I'm about to spit off a lot of names, and that there's not a lot of room in the wide receiver room. So we got Isaiah Wright, Steven Sims Jr. was on the team last year, had some flashes, some ups and downs. Cam Sims, also a young and up and coming player. Curtis Samuel, who they got from Carolina. Dax Milne, Terry McLaurin, who deserves no explanation. We know about T-Mac. Adam Humphries coming from the Bucks. Kelvin Harmon just coming off, is it Achilles or ACL? I can't remember. ACL. Yeah. Then they got DeAndre Carter, unsigned free agent, Tony Brown, and they drafted De'Ami Brown out of UNC. So that's the wide receiver room as it stands today. So what are you thinking about these wide receivers, and what's your thoughts on the team going into position next year?
I love the additions. I can say that you can tell what the team is trying to put together. Players that are able to push the ball downfield. They got a quarterback that's willing to do it. So that's good to add some speed. But if you go and you just put down like the top four, I mean, you got Terry, you got Curtis, you're going to say De'Ami, and then you got to say Adam Humphries. Just going in, you got to think that's your top four, right? They're not going to keep more than six, probably. Right. Probably not going to keep more than six. So that leaves 2 spots available. And then there's a couple cats, and I may have missed a couple moves in there, but I think out of the people that are left over, Cam Sims is a huge fan favorite. He's made some big plays all year. So he's going to be a guy that if he's consistent, I think he's going to find himself a niche. Steven Sims, I want to see that guy make some plays. Special teams, you got to get more consistent. He's going to have to make some plays every single day and be consistent because people. He was kind of boom or bust. It was just like he would make a really big play, but then he may fumble a ball. So bouncing back and forth from there, he's going to have to show up. And then from the rest of the guys there, I mean, they're just going to have to show up and be consistent every single day. I think it's more of an uphill battle because you have 4 spots that are probably sewn up, barring any injuries like that. But the good thing about this year, just for those players on the lower part of the roster, they're playing preseason games again, which means you're auditioning for 31 other teams, right? So, before it was more of a, hey, either you make it or you don't, and they expanded the rosters and that was great.
Damn COVID.
But now you got preseason games. So whenever you're going against whatever team it is, you still have the opportunity to show up and show out. And if you can't stick in Washington, you can find yourself a job on another team. I do think the big key for like the last 2, maybe last 3 receivers is what are y'all going to do special teams wise? Because Terry ain't playing special teams. Curtis ain't playing special teams. You may catch Diami returning some kicks here or there. They might make him cover a kick or 2, maybe, but it's going to be them. Those bottom 2 positions are going to have to be like all over the field, punt coverage, punt return, just doing what they have to do to be on the roster, and they'll get a shot or 2 whenever they get to call their number.
Do you think any of those guys that you mentioned is a surprise cut? Because put it this way, when you were playing, how many guys did they keep on the 53 in the position? 6, 5?
Generally 6. When I left when I was released in 2012, I think they kept like 7 or 8, and that was insanely high. The difference was that some of those guys really didn't play special teams. Like they would make some plays throughout the game, but they really weren't doing as much on special teams. So that kind of messes with the numbers. Now, if you get a receiver that knows the offense and can play special teams, like that person has a lot of value. Look at a guy like what's his name, Matthew Slater. He has 0 offensive like statistics, but he plays special teams he's been a Pro Bowler all his career. So I'm not saying that they have to go that route, but it helps to have some more tools in your toolbox. But surprise cut, honestly, it's truly if they ball out. Those guys ball out, Steve Sims, Cam Sims, they ball out and then get cut, that's a surprise. Because the league is more of when you're at the bottom of the roster, you may only get 1 shot. You know what I'm saying? You may get 1 play and they throw you in there. And if you mess it up, they may just write you off. They'll be like, see, I told you this is who this guy was. But if you get an opportunity and you make a play and then they keep giving you opportunities, you keep making plays, now you're going to force their hand. They either have to play you or somebody else is going to want to pick you up whenever you get released and go on waivers.
Right. So I'll let Phil tell you who he thinks is gonna make it and not make it. Go ahead.
What you got, Phil?
Well, here's the thing. I think you laid out the reasons why I think Cam Sims will make it. Besides the fact that we finally saw some flashes of everything we had heard about for years with him, he is an excellent gunner on special teams. Like he covers kicks, covers punts, both really well. And you need somebody who brings that to the table. And I think Cam does that. Plus, Cam showed some playmaking ability. So you like having that in the depth. The guy I think who's not going to make it is Steven Sims. See, I don't think Steven Sims Jr. makes it because of the special teams thing, but from an opposite perspective. He was not a good returner. His average was mediocre. He fumbled and muffed a bunch of punts. Last year he was playing back there because nobody else could. And I don't know if they're going to use Adam Humphries back there because Humphries returned punts in his career, things like that. Maybe Danny Johnson, who showed up on kick returns, may get a shot at punt returns. I don't know. But I don't think Steven Sims brings anything to the table extra. So I don't think he makes the team.
That's the big point. Oh man, you got a
Hey,
jersey, Eric.
we gotta show some love to Eric Berner real quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can't show you the picture as we move along.
Man, that's what's up.
Hey, you got fans all over the place, and
That's
I
flattering,
told you.
man. I
I told
appreciate it. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Phil. I don't know if Sims not surprise cut, but it's just what does Sims do that Humphreys doesn't do? Humphreys could play special teams. I mean, De'Ami Brown's a burner. Are they going to put him on special teams? I know a lot of times with rookies, they want to give them a lot of time to go. So
I'm sorry, I just read Fred's comment.
Fred. If we have a friend of the show, Fred. He always thinks that he's a big Sims fan. So okay,
there's two Sims.
You know what?
Fred.
He's right. Sims
talking about both Sims. You talking about both Sims? Look, I'm always an optimist, right? I'm always an optimist. I'm going into it thinking that they got something to prove. I remember what was it? It wasn't like I was like in the running to make it, but going from 2000 and that was actually 2000 and I don't know, whatever year it was, they drafted like 3 receivers, when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like when you see people get drafted at your position, like you like, well, man, what the hell? Like y'all told me one thing, but now y'all doing another. It's like, okay. So he has to show up. He's got to step up. You know what I mean? It's going to be consistency. Now if you're going to say surprise cut, I don't know what was Humphrey's deal. Was it a 1-year deal? Was it like a 3-year? What did he sign?
Hey, this is Eric Berner's jersey. He just DM'd it to me. I had to let you show it. So
I love it, man.
Much love.
I love it, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate the support, man. I appreciate that.
But
big time.
Humphreys had a 2-year deal. I'm pretty sure it's what they signed him to. He got a 2-year deal. So
I mean, it's
not going to bail on the first year.
Yeah, you say that. We just talked about a quarterback that we bailed on. You know what I'm saying? So I think the league has changed. You know what I mean? The league has changed where they're willing to move past players, right? Like let's say that both of the Sims come out and play really well, and then there's like a third guy who is doing what Humphreys does, but does a little bit more, right? And let's say Humphreys doesn't cover kicks. He's only I come in on third down. I get open, kind of like a Cole Beasley, even though I know Cole's kind of opened his role a little bit, but he's kind of like a Cole Beasley, consistent third down presence. You're trying to cover Terry, you're trying to take care of Curtis, you got one-on-one inside. If you can find another player that can do that and do a little bit more, now you got to say, well, hey, maybe we move Humphreys. That could be a surprising move. But there's so many things that have to happen in between like that just showing up that I don't even want to look at it now because there's just so many unseen circumstances that could go down. Right.
And we got another comment from Toan. I mean, he wants to know, did you play alongside Santana Moss?
I did, man. I learned everything from Santana, just watching the way he worked, the way he took care of his body, like the recovery aspect of it. He taught that like you don't have to be sore and hurt because you're playing football. Right. He invested heavily into staying on the field. And so I just was like, whatever you're doing, I want to do that. And I could see a huge, huge improvement just in my recovery and being able to show up every week after, working with his people. And so just shout out to Santana, man. He's just like a big brother to me. You know what I mean? Being able to learn from him and just watch him go out there and ball every single week. Plus, they would double him, and then I would have single coverage, and it was a great symbiotic relationship.
To the top, open over the top. That's right. Man. And this is our man Justin Sawyer. He didn't come in on the name, but yeah, he thinks Gandy Golden's going to make it. I personally would like Gandy Golden to make it out of Liberty. I just think he has way too much athletic potential to not translate into something. But we'll just have to see. He didn't. I know he was injured last year, so he's the one I think that has the most to prove. He was a third round. I can't remember exactly.
I'll refrain from my nickname for him. We have a former player in here, and I hate to, and I never played in the NFL, so I can't sit here and talk trash about an NFL player in the presence of another NFL player.
That's all right. That's all right. That. Well, let's move on to the next topic. So now we're going to talk about right guard. We're going to talk about Brandon Scherff. He clearly today, I think today at 4:00 was the 4:00. I forget what it was the time for teams to get their franchise tags done. And it didn't happen. So right now he's playing on I think it's $18 million deal. This is his second franchise tag, a la Kirk Cousins. So we know they're not going to franchise him for a third year next year. And the right guard market has it's been going up. The market keeps getting reset. I think the guy on the Eagles, the name escapes me. I think it starts with a T. He's the number one paid guard in the league. And he's sitting at 16.5, I think. So the team must have saw something to say, listen, we're not going to pay you this. And I don't know if Scherff is hoping that the cap is going to go back up because of COVID, which I think they're talking about it might next year. So I don't know. Phil, we'll go to you as our resident lineman friend of the group. What do you think? I personally think Scherff is trade bait this entire year. Trade him before the trade deadline.
And actually, you're thinking Brandon Brooks from Philly,
okay.
But Joe Thuney from Kansas City is the one who's at $16 million. Just so
that's Justin Sawyer. He went to college with Liberty. Okay, cool.
Okay, and
he said, "Watch your mouth, Phil." All right, so continue.
But I think Scherff he's trade bait. At this point, you gotta get something for him with all this money you've invested in him last year on the tag. And all this. If he wants more money than a guard should really get at this point, as far as how the market goes, if he wants to be the market leader, you can get guards who play, okay, maybe not all pro level, although I've debated that from last year. But you can get somebody who's a solid starter. They can step right in, and they've got that already on the roster. You can get that for a lot cheaper than $18 million, $20 million. I mean, he wants Trent Williams money. Yeah. It's really what it is. If he can't take $18 million, he wants 20. All right? Trent Williams is at what, 21, 23 right now? And Trent Williams is a left tackle. We're talking about a right guard. We're not even talking about a blind side guard. We're talking about somebody who Fitz is going to be staring at as soon as he drops back to pass. Yeah. I don't think Brandon Scherff should, if you let him play all season and then he just goes, then nobody's made an offer.
Yeah.
It should not be for lack of willingness to shop him at this point.
Hey, shout out to Dev coming in as one of our co-hosts, Anthony coming in as Facebook user because he didn't follow the acknowledged directions, but that's cool. Shout out to you, Dev. Welcome.
Appreciate it, Dev.
Hey, so did you ever think you'd live in a world where guards were making $18 million?
Man, just some of the numbers all the way around, regardless of the position. It's just like, golly, you get paid a whole bunch of money. But I mean, truly, I was thinking the other day, man, athletes, you're in a high level position, a lot of pressure to be able to just perform every single time. Like, hey, you got to get what you got to get. I do think that they're gonna have to do something, trade them. Worst case scenario. I mean, hey, if everything is going good, shoot, I might as well let's see how far we can ride with him through the year and hopefully come up with a deal. But I agree, you probably do have to try to get some value for him. Fortunately, a guard is a position that you're sandwiched in between two guys. So either you're working with the center on a little combo block, or you may be working with the tackle on a combo block. So it's not like you're out on an island, Yeah. And I think with solid coaching, and we still got Callahan, right? Bill Callahan, right?
No, he went to
he's gone. Where'd he go?
Cleveland.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, he's a hell of a coach, but I mean, you can coach up an O-line to work together in unity. You can get a guard to play really well, and you don't have to have a superstar at that position. I would obviously love to keep him, but hey, man, look, I can't pay you $20 million to play inside unless you're trying to change positions. So if you want to switch over to left guard, let's talk turkey, or left tackle, I should say, let's talk turkey. But at this point, see what you can get for him. You might can trade for him, get maybe a younger guy, a draft pick or something like that. Find another position.
I think it'd be great if we got some draft picks just so we can continue to build what we've got. because we do have a fairly young roster. But as someone pointed out, we got Wes Schweitzer. We've got Eric Flowers. We picked up Eric Flowers. And I had said that when we got Flowers that, I mean, my immediate thought was, oh, we're getting rid of Brandon Scherff. Why would you get a starting guard when you have a guy who played well as a starter down the stretch last season in Wes Schweitzer? And then you got Sadiq Charles, who they still plan on being a guard as well. So you've got guys that you're trying to figure into the equation. And then you have this guy who's just trying to, eat up salary cap. So why not say, hey, thank you. Thanks for the memories. We're going to get a couple draft picks for you. Go earn your money somewhere else.
Yeah.
Send them to San Diego. Send them to Kansas City. Send them some far away from the NFC East.
I mean, look, I just send them to where you go get the best deal. Really, I mean, it's a guard. No disrespect, but it's not like he's not going to take over a game.
Yeah, that sounds like some Jay Gruden right there.
No, but I mean, like, okay, I don't see them. I don't see them making a trade and send them to Philly. You're not going to send them to anywhere in the NFC East to be a trade. It's going to take a cut and then somebody sign them like Kerrigan, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't care how far you send them. You're going to find out what's the best deal for you. He's going to start for somebody. Somebody's going to need a guard, and you'll be able to get a king's ransom for it.
Yeah,
and everybody's going to be happy at the end of the day.
So let's take a quick football break for a second. And I know, based on your Twitter, you are a lover of fine spirits. So what's your preferred beverage at the moment? What are you into? Do you have any recommendations for anyone at the moment?
Man, see, I've gotten into like really trying to appreciate like bourbons and whiskeys. Before I would just drink them, you know what I mean? But now I try to appreciate them. I try to look for the complexities and the nose and all the other jazz. But I mean, at the moment, I'm drinking something out of a coffee mug. So like, I'm not all the way classy, right? I'm not all the way there, but I'm working my way. Like this one is a Balcones expression where they've worked with Shinerbach, which is a Texas amber. So they've I think they basically put the bourbon in like some of the Shinerbach barrels for like 6 months. So it has a different flavor. It's either you hate it or love it on this one.
Right.
Big fan. I've been watching like a whole bunch of YouTubes on like bourbon, like the Bourbon Junkies, and I was just going hard on them, right? And then every time I would go out, I was like, ooh, there's a liquor store. Let me go over here and see what they got. So I've come up on like an Eagle Rare and a Colonel Taylor, but I really like that Woodford Reserve double oak.
Double oak. That's good. It's a great one.
That is a solid one. One that surprised me was the Old Forester 1920.
Okay.
That one right there coming with a lot of flavor, a lot of complexity right when it hits your tongue.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, I frankly literally just was like, let me see what is out there. And I tried to grab a little bit of everything. But like the Old Forester line is really solid and it's always available.
Yep.
So like if you're looking to like try something different, the OF is good.
Yeah.
The Buffalo Trace is still good. Like we're learning. It's a great marketing. They're so good at marketing that it's so popular. But I fell into the Eagle Rare. I got lucky on that. Like a bottle of the Wellers with the green label, fell into that. So I was like, grab these since I got them.
You're quite the distinguished gentleman. Our co-host Dev, he lives in Kentucky, so he's always ranting about the Bourbon Trail. If you ever down there, get an opportunity,
I need to go.
It's on the bucket list. I'm drinking. It's called Thomas St. Moore. This one's Kentucky bourbon whiskey, finished in Chardonnay cask. This one was hard to find. I went to my Total Wine and picked it up. But I'm with you. I'm just getting into it, but I always try to get something new. Just to experiment. And I'm not into whiskeys, mostly just bourbons, like not straight whiskeys.
Yeah, I'm a whiskey guy.
Yeah, okay. There you go. We got people saying, screwball peanut butter. I got a bottle of that. I drank a little bit. It was too sweet for me.
I don't like peanut butter like that, man. I got some of like the BSB, like the brown sugar bourbon.
Yep.
I think I got like 100 or 103 proof or something like that. Mm-hmm. That is very sweet. Cheers to you, sir.
I can't shoot it. I'm a sipper. I like so Jefferson's Oceans. The Voyages are very good. I got a 22. Yeah. Oh, so good. 22.
Yeah.
I'm on 22 right now. I have a 22 one. I've gone through 3 different ones, and it's just cool because they tell you where it goes around the world, and it's just a fun thing to look, because you can look it up where your barrel went overseas.
Yeah.
So it's one of my favorites to get into right now.
I'm gonna grab one of those one day.
Yeah, I agree. We got some fans that like, Knob Creek.
Knob Creek is solid.
Never trust bourbon not made in Kentucky. Of course,
Hey,
that's Dev.
Knob Creek is good. What did I have? Knob Creek. They have like a single barrel.
They do. It's not bad.
Like
I've had a bottle of it. From Thomas Dillon, Bird Dog. I got some Bird Dog peach actually in my little fake bar over there, and I did want to go back up and say welcome to who was it? It was Corey Harris, who joined us as well, saying happy to see Anthony on the live stream. So that was our little bourbon break there. We wanted to take for a second because I'm a lover of bourbons, and I knew you were too, so I had to bring it up.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. I'm always down to have a little dram, right? Have a little sip. I got this like fitness thing I'm doing tomorrow. It's like competition. So I said I wasn't gonna have nothing to drink tonight, but since I'm on here kicking it, I said I will partake. Yeah, I will partake right quick.
A little bit.
Just make you sweat a little more tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be good. It's at 5:30 in the morning, so I'll be all right. I'm gonna be all right.
I mean, I gotta do back and shoulders tomorrow. I'll be all right.
So next topic is moving on. There was a way, prediction by a sports writer. I'll come up with the name in a second, but predicted the Washington football team to have the most sacks in the NFL this year. That's saying a lot. They didn't lead the league in sacks last year, but I think the defense was still pretty darn good. So that being said, Phil, what do you think about them predicting our team to be leading the league in sacks? Do we need to be leading the league in sacks to be successful?
We don't need to be leading the league. Could we? Is it a good possibility? Yes. I think we have the potential. I think that having someone like Jamin Davis, a middle linebacker, does help with a lot of that mid-range coverage that we kind of lacked as far as covering tight ends and so forth. So having somebody with that kind of speed and swiftness back there, either in coverage or coming on the blitz, does help, and just reducing the amount of time a quarterback has to throw. So do I think we could? Absolutely. Do we need to? Not necessarily. Now, if you're top 5, top 7, that should be the minimum. Is you want to be in that upper echelon. You don't have to be number 1, but you want to be sniffing number 1.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. But I think the one thing that's going to help if we're going to get to having the most sacks is going to be that back end, right? Being able to lock somebody up. They got a lot of corners. That's another deep position, right? That you're like, who's going to be the odd man out? Like they got to let somebody go, and it's going to be somebody who's going to get let go, who's probably going to go start for another team. Like it's that type of a situation, and when you have the ability to get up in people's faces and play some man, you got some safeties over the top, and then hopefully Davis comes in and can please, Lord, cover a tight end. Like just cover a tight end and just try to take away the quick throws. They're going to try to get the ball out quick to negate, Sweat and Young and just the whole front.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like a literal full team effort to lead the league in sacks, right?
Right.
If the offense is scoring points, then the opposing offense has to drop back. Now you have a better chance to hunt at the D line.
Right.
If the offense don't score points, the other team is trying to run it. They get to do their quick game. You're not getting to the quarterback, right? So you tie these things together. Now we're going to start talking about racking up some sacks.
Right. So having been a player on the field, this is why we're so blessed to have you. So, a good line can be a byproduct of a great secondary, and a great secondary can be a byproduct of a great defensive line, and they got to kind of be in tune together. And if Chase or Montez goes down, we won't lead the league in sacks. Period. My personal belief, and that's a true test of whether your secondary is really good. Those coverage sacks, I mean, that's a big deal, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Getting plastered by a DB, right? That's got to get you pretty upset.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've been there. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Right. But like a smart DB, they understand the full on blitzes that are going on. They understand how fast people are getting to the quarterback. And I mean, if you look at like a great DB like D Hall, you know, he jumps a lot of stuff because he understands what's going on the offense and on the defense and where the ball needs to come out quickly, so you can anticipate these different things. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what's the young cat Juice Ben St.
Juice. Yeah.
I'm excited. I keep seeing his name pop up on like every tweet, you know, saying he's having a day, and I'm excited to see when it's unscripted. Because I'm always nervous about it. If it's just scripted all the time, sure, everybody looks great.
Yeah.
I want to see it whenever you don't know what they're going to call. You don't know what the next play is. Just get out there unscripted and play ball. That's going to be the true test of it.
Not jerseys and shorts.
It's not even jerseys and shorts. It's just literally like, if I know, you know, hey, like most of the time in practice, you're going to have it scripted, 10, 15 plays, whatever it is. You go through a walkthrough. A lot of times that's the script from practice. So, you know, I have play number 3 through 5, and then I've seen a hitch, a slant, and then a go. And so whenever people practice, I've seen a guy earn a starting position for a game by playing the hell out of the script. And it was like, I'm like, dog, you're not getting any better.
Right.
Like, I haven't even broke on the route yet, and you're already breaking on what I'm supposed to run.
Yep.
First 3 plays in the game, I think it was like he got beat on the pass, and there was like 2 pass interferences. He got pulled before the quarter was even over. And I'm like, see, that's the type of thing. Now I'm willing to bet. I'm hopeful that the young fella's out there he's just locking people down, you know.
Yeah.
But once you start seeing different players, like, he's going to get his confidence up, which is huge. But when it's unscripted, that's going to be the true test. I'm excited to see him get out there and play.
Yeah. As a receiver, did you mind press coverage, or did you rather the DBs played 5 yards off of you? And part 2 of that, it seems as that time frame when you were on the team, some of our DBs were playing 12 yards off the ball.
Yeah,
man. What were they thinking?
Man, they running what they were called one or the pit. Well, if they were going against me, they might have backed up because I was going to run by them. Right.
That's right.
But
that's right.
So I'll say this: I don't like going against press just because it's frustrating, and that's generally what you're going to see is that against a fast guy, they're going to get up in your face and they're going to try to slow you down at the line of scrimmage as much as possible. If you give a fast guy some room to run, it's trouble. So the more space you have, the more ability you can try to manipulate that DB. But if you can win at the line of scrimmage, that's the first most important spot. The second spot is at the top of the route. So being impressed is also slight slap in the face. They like, we finna lock you down. So
yeah. Yep.
You know, you got some dogs on offense that are willing to get out there and make some plays. Nowadays, I mean, shoot, I'd love to see some press. Be nice and patient with it. That's the way people run their routes now, even more patient than ever, taking their time off the line of scrimmage. But you really, if you're gonna play press, you got to be able to forget that you got beat on the previous play, because you got to come back there and do it again and act like nothing ever happened.
Yeah,
and that's what DBs are weird like that, man.
Yeah.
Head cases.
For the next topic, I'm gonna turn this over to Phil. But as you know, you don't know this, but our man Phil over here he's one of the elected fan ambassadors. So the team chose him to be one of our fan ambassadors to reach out, gain input, talk to the fans, and then go back and reconvene with the team. And they're doing all these focus groups. And Phil, I think one of Phil's focus group is culture. Was it culture?
Culture.
Yeah, culture. So, the name thing is here. It's upon us. Everybody's talking about it. And the latest thing, Jason Wright came out and talked about Warrior. So, Phil, I'm gonna turn it over to you, and let's hear what you got to say.
So, Jason Wright said that Warriors is out as a name because they don't want to tie anything to Native American imagery, and I get that. I think that was a bit. I didn't like how they said that because I'm not the biggest fan of the name Warriors. You don't have to play that to Native American imagery, but whatever. I understand that they have some tribal leaders they've been in contact with regarding this, whole name thing, and they talked to them about Warriors, and they apparently, those leaders said, if you're not doing Redskins, you're not doing Warriors. So, okay, whatever. And immediately, here come the Red Wolves people. I hate. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you. All right, and I said this on Twitter. All right, Red Wolves. Okay, and here's the thing: if you're my age, maybe a little younger, you come from the era of Little League baseball and AYSO soccer, Optimist League basketball, all this stuff. And Red Wolves is just a name that your little band of 10-year-olds would have come up with because you were on the red team and you wanted to come up with a better name for yourself than red versus yellow. So you're the Red Wolves. They're the Yellow Jackets. Those are the Blue Bombers. This is the Green Machine. And here's the thing. They say, all right, Team Red, what do you want to call yourselves? Red Wolves. And then you got, you've got Tim and Karen sitting in the back of their Subaru Ascent, sipping Starbucks, going, go Red Wolves, while watching the little Bradens and Kyles go out there and run around the field aimlessly.
Bradens and Kyles.
So,
how do you, Anthony? What do you think about this whole name thing? I mean, we don't need to talk about the Redskins name. What do you think about the current state of the name?
Yeah. But Phil, you're hilarious. One, you're killing me. So the following like the name, the whole name and renaming, I do agree with Jason on the fact of that. I can tell that, hey, let's just distance ourselves from Native American imagery, not in a disrespectful way, right? It's just saying, hey, we've already been through a whole bunch of drama. We don't want to bring up the drama again. And I can appreciate that. I think that is smart. You definitely got to keep the colors because, hey, it's burgundy and gold. You got to be able to lock that in. You don't want to change it. You don't want to rebrand completely. Plus there's a lot of folks that still have their old original stuff and the colors still match. So it's like, it's no big deal. When we were going through the names, Warriors, that wasn't a favorite of mine anyways. And I had a hard time really finding a name that I could really just like, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Yep.
What was the one? I forget the one that was like, it was an aerial one. I think it had the Red Tails. Yeah, the Red Tails. I was like, nah, I don't really like that one. I couldn't, but I liked the connection, and I was like, okay, I love what you're trying to do. Didn't really like it as a name. Red Wolves started to grow on me. It started to grow on me because you started thinking about the defense and they're hunting, and then you could just hear the howling, and like I could see that being a thing, and I could see that making sense. But then as the season went along, I was like, what if we just left it as the Washington football team? Because here's the thing, Phil. Look, here's the thing. You still got the Super Bowls, right? You're still NFC East champions. You still got the burgundy and gold. You're gonna call them Washington anyways, right? Everybody's like, who's the football team? Washington. It's just Washington. Who you playing? You playing Washington. Right? You don't got to be like, I'm playing the Red Wolves. Like, who are the Red Wolves? When I'm playing Madden and you change the team, I don't know who the Diablos are. I don't know. Like, who is the team that switched? It's Washington football team. You can own that. Like, you can make that what you want it to be. You don't have to be following up behind, a wolf and all this other stuff. I could see, I could go with either one of those two, frankly, but I'm kind of pushing like, hey, stick with Washington football team and just own it. Just make it what it is.
I'll say this. I'm not the biggest fan of Washington football team, but I will say this. I'm going to credit Steve for at least being smart enough to run a good gimmick with it, because he always throws up the hashtag no name but team. And I thought, you know what? I'm not the biggest fan of WFT, but that's kind of dope. I'll give him credit on that. That's something you can run with. And so, Steve, you need to start patenting some of this marketing acumen you have.
Me too.
In the W, like I could dig the big W hat. Like
Yeah.
that was bomb. You know what I'm saying? And then I saw the comment said they want a red, white, and blue alternative jersey.
Yeah.
It's so easy to just be Washington and then have a red, white, and blue alternative.
It's funny because I think that I understand it. And it's funny because I'm the biggest proponent of make sure you don't forget the history of this team in the process of pivoting the franchise name and direction. Don't forget the history you have. But I do feel that when they said that we're going to keep the colors burgundy and gold, I thought you're really starting to limit yourself here.
Yeah.
When this all first happened, I threw out the idea of let's make it a big concept. All right, call it freedom because everybody, whatever it means to you, it means something to you, right? I said you star-spangled the living shit out of this team, and then you say this is America's team, and just stick it to your old foes in Dallas. You have and I said that's an idea. Sticking with the burgundy and gold does limit your options before you start getting the names and color schemes that just look weird. Like I saw a mock-up for the name Monuments, and I'm like, what? Monuments? And we got a burgundy background with a gold Washington monument. Well, Washington Monument's white, people. It's not gold.
But I mean, the DC skyline.
But then again, most people make me suggestions, live out in Northern Virginia, and they never set foot in DC. So.
Hey, the DC skyline, like I've seen a lot of the mock-ups. So there's a lot of good ideas out there.
There definitely are, and I will give this: the Red Wolves people do a great job in marketing that name with a lot of mock-ups, and it's an easy name to mock up. The name sounds very juvenile to me, and everybody points to online polls. People, I've said this once, I say it 1,000 times. Don't follow online polls. Online polls told us that neither Donald Trump or Joe Biden were going to win the presidency last year. It was going to be Jo Jorgensen, and she was going to get 300 electoral votes. And she got 1% of the vote, the popular vote. So online polls are easily manipulated. Keep that in mind when you see these things. If you have a good organized push, you can manipulate these things. I've seen them do it. They share links amongst themselves, things like that. I'm not going to get into some of the questionable people that are pushing this name either. I've already talked about that. But I get, and like I said, it's an easy mock-up. But some of the mock-ups I've seen for Red Tails have been really dope. I saw one for Revolution that I really liked. Yeah. So I've seen some great mock-ups. And credit to the fan base. There are some really creative people out there doing things and making submissions. So whatever we go with, I hope that they do use something inspired by one of these fan submissions and credit that person. I would love that because I think that is a good way to endear yourself to the fan base. So,
yeah, fair enough.
Talking about people love mascots and whatnot. That's the thing. Like don't get tied to it being whatever mascot it is. Like, you're going to call it Washington. Like there's a mall down here that used to be called Redbird Mall. Redbird Mall. And then another developer called it, and they tried to change it to like Southwest Center Mall. And that name never stuck. They were like, that's Redbird Mall. Like, I don't care what you call it. That's Redbird Mall. This is forever going to be Washington regardless.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Instead, you try to say, "Oh, it's the poodles, it's the jackrabbits, it's the wild turkeys, it's the wild hog." Don't matter. It's still gonna be Washington. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to my cousin Jeff Runyon joined the live stream, and Derek Manning. Thanks for joining us. And Derek's right, and Anthony, you can attest to this. We just need football, right? And winning cures everything. So it doesn't matter what they're going to choose at the end of the day. Me personally, I don't care. I could deal with Washington football team. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, winning does cure everything, what you're doing on the field. But there's been a lot of backlash going on lately.
I am going to go on record. I am going to go record on this because Justin Sawyer said he can't wait for my reaction when it is Red Wolves. First of all, there will be no Red Wolves. Jason Wright came out and said Red will not be in the name anywhere. We are not doing that. You might get Wolves. You're not getting Red Wolves. And Derek, I'm sick of it too, to be honest with you, but I engage with it because we are in the doldrums of the offseason. There's no free agency going on. There's no camps. There's no nothing. There's no draft. We got nothing to talk about.
Right? You're like, well, what was she called? What would we call them?
Yeah.
I mean, it's Washington all day. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's still going to be Washington.
I still would like DC Defenders, baby.
Yeah,
Me and Steve were on that wagon.
I mean, like I can dig that, but you don't even play in DC.
Hey, Lando,
I mean, and then obviously, yes, don't play in Washington, sure, but at least they used to.
Yeah.
But like some of the names, I mean, I played in the Arena League, but like some of the names sound like it's a semi-pro team name.
Yeah.
Like, and it doesn't sound like
right.
You know?
But you're right. There's no one name. I'm with you that jumps out. I'm like, you know what? That's the one. There hasn't been one yet to me. And when you lived here, did everyone live in Ashburn or that general vicinity out there near the facility?
As far as I know, I think maybe the furthest up we had maybe a few folks would be like kind of going towards Leesburg. Some guys when they came in, if they didn't know no better, they found themselves like a condo down in like Reston or a little bit further in towards the city.
Yeah,
I think they quickly regretted that because the traffic up there is crazy. Good Lord,
it hasn't changed at all.
I mean, I stayed as close to the facility as possible.
Right.
And I was like, man,
how was that commute? How was that commute to FedEx Field though?
Man,
all the way around 495.
Yeah, man, it was like an hour just to get to the hotel. We stayed at the Gaylord, and
that's what I was going to ask.
Just had to pack a bag or either ride the bus over there. And
okay, I gotcha. Is that standard practice? That's standard practice. Everyone goes to the Gaylord State. Is that a team mandated thing?
Oh yeah. So the night before the game, you'd have to report by I don't know, like 5 or 6 or something like that for whatever the first meeting was. You had to be there by that. So
before the Gaylord existed, the team actually, if I understand correctly, stayed at Marriott Wardman Park, which is up on Connecticut Avenue, and that's when they were going to FedEx or going to RFK. Which, if anybody knows anything about DC traffic in DC, that was probably still, a solid 30-45 minute drive on some days. But I mean, it was still, the stadium was in on one side of DC, they were just on the other side of DC.
Yeah, I guess they were staying in Southeast.
I'm glad to hear that practice hasn't changed.
No, I'm down there all the time, by the way. I have a ton of friends that live in Southeast. Hey, moving on to our final topic here. So way too early draft on Breach Report. You know why? Because, hey, we talk about this stuff. They have us. So me personally, we're going to be a good team next year. We're going to be so good that we're going to be in quarterback purgatory again. We're going to have a top 15 draft pick. And we're going to be exactly where we were last year, that we are this year, and we're going to be who's our quarterback in the future. So the guy who wrote his Bleacher Report draft has us drafted a cornerback, Khair Elam out of Florida. I think it's crazy for them to mock us another cornerback when we already have Fuller, we already have Jackson and St. Juiced and all these other guys that like Anthony said, the DB room is going to be full. Why I don't know why they would mock us a cornerback, and two, why would we not try to make a move for a quarterback next year? What do you think, Anthony?
Man, I'll say honestly, I don't want to chase the quarterback position.
Okay,
because, and this is I'm probably like the minority in this, because I think a lot of folks, and I heard it this past year, people were like, "Don't win. We don't want to win. We want a better draft pick so we can get a quarterback." I'm like, dog, you've been down the same road many, many years. Why do we want to continually draft a quarterback and hope that guy is just going to flip the switch and turn the entire thing around? Now you actually have you're on your lunch break. Oh, I guess not necessarily lunch like time, but lunch break. So I appreciate you.
Yes, Dev.
Yeah, he works at the Corvette plant in Kentucky, so he's a good guy to know.
Already, he's making those new Corvettes. Nice. But no, like you don't want to always have to grasp at straws and be at the top and take the next, big quarterback because there's only 3 or 4 available. Like, you don't have to force your hand. Hell, build a team. Let's build a team to where, hey, you can put in a quarterback and he's going to be successful because we can run the ball, we can throw the ball, and it doesn't have to be all on his shoulders. You don't have to have that guy come in and just lift this team to the higher levels just by showing up. Like, hey, I think Fitz is going to do all right. Do we need to get a quarterback for the future? Sure. You know, could it be Heineke? Possibly, but it's going to take a lot of, he's going to have to do a lot of work. But Heineke can have success if the defense is balling, if the receivers get open, if we can move the ball and just run and get, we're not asking him to be Tom Brady. He don't have to be Tom Brady. And I think the way this team is built, you don't need a quarterback to be just like lights out. I'm gonna knock this thing out. You need the team. You need no names. You need just the team to come together. You see what I'm saying, Steve? I see how you did that. You worked that in there.
What you think, Phil?
He's absolutely right. I don't want to chase. The only way you go after the quarterback is if a lot of chips fall in the right place. Maybe you get a boatload of picks for Scherff, right? And you can bundle some of those to move up and get a quarterback. I hate the idea of trading away what you've already got or what you're going to have. But if you have extra picks, then yeah, bundle that and see if you can move up. If there is somebody there you absolutely want, don't chase somebody as a project. You get the guy that you say, that is who I want. Don't get someone just because I have to get someone. Desperation never bodes well. All right. We've done that in the past and did not work out well. I mean,
it's an expensive mistake, but like, let's think about this. Okay. I see that quote. What was my favorite city to play in? So I'm from the Dallas area. So it was always fun to come home just to get to see family. Favorite city to play in. Philly had a great atmosphere just because, like, literally on the board, this is my funny Philly story. On the board in the locker room, it said, and we're gonna get back to that quarterback because I have a potential person, but it said wear your helmet entering and leaving the field because fans have known to throw stuff. I literally saw that on the whiteboard. I think I took a picture on my phone and I kind of giggled because I was like, wow, they really warning us. And so I'm warming up pregame. I got my headphones in. I'm doing my thing. And then out of nowhere, bam, I get hit in the head. I didn't look up because I was like, can't show weakness, right? Can't show weakness. I'm on enemy territory. So I just kind of worked my way up the tunnel in my head. I'm like, what just happened? Somebody threw something early. Like there's nobody in the stands. It was Santana trying to get my attention. And he had thrown a football. And he's not the most accurate, but that day he hit me right in the ear hole. I had a hit. I thought I was deaf because all I heard was a ringing over here. If my headphone fell out, I heard music on one side. I didn't know what was going on. I love playing in Philly just because the fans were crazy. Seattle was fun because I got to catch that touchdown on them.
Seattle had to be fun for you.
That was an experience. Like I blew those kisses to the fan, but I was kind of blowing kisses to the coaching staff too. Just because I'm like, you can't play me for like 4 plays and think you're gonna hold me down. I'm gonna still get this done. So I love playing. Honestly, everywhere. My whole NFL career was like a kid living his dream. In the craziest sense, every time I was like, wow, that's Charles Woodson. Wow, that's Ray Lewis. Like. Every single week, I was like, man, like these are people that I have seen play for so long, and to line up against them or be on the field or share a locker room with them, I was pretty much starstruck my whole career if we being real.
Yeah, we got another guy. Ask, who's your favorite teammate?
Favorite teammate, man. I have so many. I talked to a few of them. Darrell Young, probably one of my top teammates.
Bring back the fullback. The fullback.
He was so like. His story, like he was kind of like me. He just kind of played everything. Yeah. He used to be a linebacker, and then they moved him to fullback, and then it stuck. So he's a great dude. Santana, obviously, it was really good. Connected with like Jabbar, Gaffney, Dante Stallworth. Shoot, those are just a few of the names that pop up.
Yeah,
I mean, it was so much fun. Terrence Austin was a lot of fun to play ball with his short time in Washington. But back to that quarterback one. What if? There's a guy out in San Francisco who could be very available.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Now, I'm not like a huge Jimmy G fan, but if you're looking at, you got to get a quarterback. You want a quarterback who's got some experience, but you also don't have to put everything on his shoulders.
That's how he's thrived his career.
Yeah, and that's fine. If we can say, hey, we're not looking for you to do anything crazy. Just manage the game. Hand the ball off, throw it to Gibson for the screen, get the ball to Terry. Don't mess up. The defense is going to set you up to look good. I think that could make sense. I feel you. Is that Dev saying that no Jimmy G?
That's Justin Sawyer.
Justin, look, I feel you. I feel you, man. I feel you. I'm not sold on Jimmy G. That's not going to be like stand on the table, fight for Jimmy. It's just one of those guys where he ain't going to be there forever. Right. He drafted his replacement.
Yeah, Trey Lance.
And it's only time until they make that switch. So is it this year or is it going to be next year? Because Jimmy is going to be a big trade. You know, he's going to have some trade value because he's a quarterback.
Yeah. Maybe Scherff can go out there. Jimmy can come over here and call it a day.
You know, you might be able to get a good swap right there. I mean, hey, you figure it out. Y'all got to figure out how to pay him.
Yeah.
Jimmy ain't no Rex Grossman. Man, I love Rex. Rex was on that list too.
Yeah.
Rex is a great teammate, man. He'd like give you this look and you knew he was throwing you the ball.
I have a feeling, here's the thing. I have a feeling that Fitzpatrick is very much in that Rex mode, except makes less mistakes than Rex is known to. He doesn't throw as many bad interceptions, but he's that same. I'm chucking it. To hell with it.
Yeah.
I'm going deep.
Unleash the dragon, the sex cannon.
Yeah.
Hey, now we got people. My cousin Jeff commenting on our hair. Listen, I'm bald. I wear these things all the time. I sweat profusely. You know, when Bust Bald Head, we don't have anyone to soak up the sweat. So, you know.
So I guess we're going to talk about facial hair and how I got this thick, luscious beard going on right now.
Man, this is all I got, man. 38 years of life, bro. This is it. I don't complain though. I don't complain.
Yeah, but you know what? You fit dudes with the fade and everything else going on. You're all right.
Hey man, I appreciate
you all right.
I appreciate it.
So Anthony, before we close out, let's talk about what you got going on in your life right now. So are you still doing Camp Gladiator? How's that going?
Camp Gladiator is good, man. Camp Gladiator is good. So CG, that's it's adult boot camp, right? It's for adults. Generally outdoors, but we've obviously with last year, they quickly pivoted and implemented a virtual aspect of it. So y'all can train virtually over Zoom with me if you want to train with me. I'm at 8:15 Tuesdays and Thursday evenings.
Is that Central Time?
Yeah,
Central
y'all
Time?
got to be up late. You got to be up late to come get it in with me. But you have options literally all throughout the day. It's a great community of people, like-minded folks. Eventually, we're going to make our way up to that area, but that's like in 2024. So me and the wife, we're both trainers with CG. Also doing real estate, been doing that for 7 years. I've been able to help some former athletes. I'm like 3 for 3 on like Redskins fans' houses. Yeah. Either like generally I have the buyer, and unbeknownst to me, the seller is a Redskin or was a Redskin or Washington fan. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that's been pretty cool to just kind of interact with different folks. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I know you." And I'm like, "Why didn't you call me to list your house, man? I had to chase you down to buy it, but I would have loved to have listed it for you." So yeah, man, I'm just finding a way to stay busy.
Yeah,
you know?
that's great. Yeah, I lived in Texas for almost 4 years in El Paso, and I was shocked at the amount of at the time Redskins fans that were everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere. I was completely shocked. I think I thought I'd be in a sea of Cowboys jerseys, but it was crazy.
Nah, and they roll deeper in Dallas too. They're just if a Washington fan in Dallas and a Cowboys fan in DC are like totally different people, right? Cowboys fan in DC think DC stands for Dallas Cowboys, and they're gonna let you know about it.
Yeah.
Washington fans here, they kind of a little bit more low key. They don't say nothing. You just may catch a hat every now and again. You like, hey, you a fan of Washington? My big test is I go up and I say HTTR.
Yeah.
And then some of them are like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "See,
hater? That's it for hater?"
I see you faking the funk, man. Sometimes people don't know what the HTTR is. And I haven't changed it to HTT WFT, but
Yeah.
It's always going to be burgundy and gold, though, right?
Yeah, that's right. The B&G. All right. Well, as we close this one down, we'll go ahead and do some shout outs. So Phil, you have any shout outs for anyone in particular?
Shout out to DeMar Daisy, who I see didn't show up today, even though I told him he needs to start paying more attention to the podcast.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the Red Wolves fans out there. I may disagree with you, but I still love you. I do. But, honestly, shout out to, we've had a lot of, again, tons of new members to the Facebook group. Hope you're checking out the stream, even if you're not making comments. Hope you check it out, on the replay, whatever case may be, YouTube. We've seen some growth in the group lately, and I'd like to see that continue and more people getting involved in discussions. So shout out to all y'all who are contributing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Anthony, do you have any shout outs you want to pass along? Anyone in particular?
Sure,
Anything
man.
in particular?
Shout out to y'all for having me on. I appreciate the invite. Always good to chop it up. You know what I mean? Always good to chop it up. And my boy got an ear infection, so I get a little break.
Oh.
He been on me all day.
Yeah.
Like, man, my whole left side is just sagging. But shout out to the doctors for giving us that amoxicillin to get him fixed up. But
antibiotics are a great thing.
Hey, absolutely. But now shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to everybody tuning in. And shout out to the team. All right. Shout out to the team. It's gonna be a good season. Okay. I feel good about it. I think that the culture is different. Everything is different about it. It doesn't have that same type of vibe to it. So I'm looking forward to the season. I'm looking forward to what they got going on.
Yeah. We got one of Eric's talking about shout out to Sean Springs and Rock Cartwright. Yeah. Hey, another great fullback in the game. Returned some kicks. Sean Springs was a great cornerback as well.
Absolutely.
He's still doing the analyst thing. Hey, Derek, thank you. And I'll give a shout out to Derek, Eric, Jeff, Justin, Dev, and everyone else who joined the live stream. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And big shout out to Anthony. Thank you so much for joining us, bro. We really appreciate it. We always love chopping it with you. We can't wait to talk to you again here pretty soon.
Absolutely. Let me get past this little thing, and then maybe I'll have 2 glasses with y'all next time.
Yeah, let's go. And if you haven't done so, go check out Camp Gladiator and follow Anthony on Twitter at Mr. Armstrong 13. So go give him a follow.
Here's what I'll do for you, Steve. I'll send y'all some. I'll make a code for y'all. All right, just for y'all to give out to your fans. So it'll be like they sign up and then they'll get like a free 4 weeks of camp. So
let's go.
I'll hook y'all up. That's like a $200-something value, man.
Yes. Let's go.
Get y'all money. Yeah,
let's
man.
go.
Get your workout on. You gotta stay fit. Right. You gotta stay in shape. Take care of yourself.
That's right. All right. Well, Anthony, once again, thank you so much, and we'll make sure we get that out to everyone. Fan of ours, and we love what you do, and we hope to see you soon. Well, hopefully we got to talk again soon, especially as we get closer to camp, and then as the season starts to kick off. And we are our small group here on the Watch Football Addicts. We're going to be taking a group trip out to Vegas here in December for the Raiders game. So we figured December 5th. Why not, right? When in Rome. I know as a family man, I don't get to travel that much anymore, so might as well make it a trip.
Man, I want to go to Vegas too, man.
Yeah, you should join us. Come on out, December 5th.
I got it in my mental. It's in my mental Rolodex.
Yeah.
Am I gonna be able to make it?
Stadium's off the chain, supposedly. I can't wait to see it.
It better be. Shoot, it's like a brand new.
Yeah.
It better be ridiculous.
Yep, I hope so. And then you know what? That'll be us in 2027.
Yeah, something like that.
7? Is that
2027? I think.
Yeah. Hail to the band. And just so you know, Anthony, we are 2 shows ago. I had a friend of mine because I'm in the DC area named Chop Chop. He's been a 20-year band member. So they're talking about dissolving the band, with the culture moving forward. So it's a big debate, but I wanted to bring him on to tell his case and talk about how important it is, the band is to the team. And so it sparked a lot of controversy on Twitter. I'm not going to lie, but I'm just sticking up for a friend. I want his voice to be heard, and they feel like they should be part of the new culture. So I don't know how you feel about the band, but the band's near and dear to my heart as a former season ticket holder. I love the band, and hopefully they can integrate them somehow in the future. But that's the band references if you go back and see them. So
I got you. I mean, I would say, keep the band involved. You know what I mean?
1937.
It doesn't have to be anything negative around that. Like, keep the band involved. They're obviously going to probably change the songs. Yeah. So that's fine. But I'd say there's nothing wrong with keeping the band involved.
Yeah. No doubt.
Keep them out there. Hail to the band.
Doubt. That's right. Hail to the band.
Hail to the band.
We're going to shut this one down. Once again, episode 79, dedicated to Jim Lachey in the books. Our special guest, Mr. Anthony Armstrong. Thank you for joining us. And Addicts, we signing off. Peace.
Peace.
Yo.